Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina.
I'm barely here.
Today we're reacting to Kris Tyson and new allegations that came out about him. But first, this video is going to be suppressed by YouTube, so you might want to like and subscribe and share this video to all of your friends, family, acquaintances, everybody.
A lot of people have been talking about this.
That's true.
And
but videos do get suppressed whenever you're going after the best friend of the biggest
YouTuber out there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna avoid using the word
pedophile
because everyone's so mad about it right now. I think the things he's doing are at risk of being kid touchy.
Yes. So instead of saying pedophile, we're going to say PD. Or PDF file.
You're going to say that.
Yes, I am.
And I'm going to say what I say.
You're going to say what you say. Okay.
So I think it's safe to say that things have gotten 10 times worse for Kris Tyson, as I have uncovered within the past few hours some really damning information regarding Kris Tyson and a then 13-year-old that Kris was allegedly talking to years ago when Kris was around 20 years old, an adult. So based off of Prism's video, he has decided to keep the alleged at the time 13-year-old's name private for the most part, and he refers to this person as BW. He uses their initials, and they also go by the screen name of Lava GS. Now essentially what happened and how it happened, according to Prism here, is Kris Tyson started a friendship with somebody who was 13 years old at the time when they were 20 years old. Now, just for a little bit of context here, the then 13-year-old actually happens to be the same age as me and is currently, as of 2024, 20 years old. Just keep that in mind as we go forward.
BW, Kris Tyson, reached out to this guy when he was 13 years old. Except the problem with that is Kris Tyson started an online friendship with this guy when he was only 13 years old. Now, the problem with that is Kris Tyson was born in July of 1996. Lava GS was born on November 12th, 2003. The problem with that is that there's a 7-year age gap. So when you...
That age gap, by the way, is the same age gap that exists between my oldest sibling and my youngest sibling. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that these people can't have conversations with each other. There's a level of appropriateness that is no longer being held if an individual is 20 talking to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
They're two different places in life, completely. And I understand from what it seems like it was gaming-related stuff.
Yeah. Content.
The internet's not a safe place.
No, it's not.
This is why parents need to monitor their kids' actions, because I believe Discord is 100% 13 plus, because it's just a communication app. However, when you have such an increased demographic of 20, 25-year-olds talking to 12 and 13 to 15-year-olds, you're gonna have some weird stuff. The thing about 13-year-olds is they're also inappropriate because they're just learning about inappropriate stuff. And so a man who's 20 can take advantage of a 13-year-old easily.
You started socializing with this guy online and building an online connection in some sort of friendship and, you talking to this guy, playing video games with him, socializing. He was only 13 years old. He was in middle school. And you were in college. You were 20 years old. So that's what I'm going to talk about is why is it that someone who is in college, who's like a sophomore or junior at that point, what are you doing making friends with a middle schooler?
So yeah, I mean, so far with only that, it's already looking bad. Like, this is definitely not something that Kris should have been doing, and I'm not really too sure if he knew that, like, he shouldn't have been doing that in really any capacity at all, because at the least it's really fucking weird. But it really makes it worse when you factor in that artwork, that quote-unquote artwork that we went over yesterday in yesterday's video. And another thing that I think is really important here is that Kris Tyson at the time was bisexual. And it's like, once again, I mean, what are you doing being 20 years old, interacting with people that young? It's like you don't have...
It's important to mention what the artwork is. It's very important to mention what the artwork is that Kris Tyson's so interested in.
I mean, there were allegations against Kris before being creepy, having lolly artwork in a MrBeast video that was just right up on his wall. Now, a lot of people who like lolly say, well, it's just cartoons, but it doesn't matter.
It's specifically
because it's young kids.
Not to mention what he tweeted about a 6-year-old or whatever being sexy.
14-year-old being sexy.
Things in those categories, you say it's a drawing, whatever. I'm saying that, yes, a picture may be more minuscule. I don't think it's a good thing, but I'd rather people draw pictures than anything else. However, it's the increased interest outside of just the pictures. It's not that he just likes to watch those pictures and get off, and it's a drawing and no one gets hurt. It's not that, because you're talking to 13-year-olds.
Now you're talking to 13-year-olds and you're also attracted to both sexes.
You're talking to them, and obviously you're attracted to the images
of children.
So why would I not do mental math
and automatically
assume that you don't want just drawings anymore? And I'm not saying he is a P word. I'm saying these are the things that would stop me from letting you around any of my family or children.
Right.
I would probably call the cops.
I think a lot of people like Amala Epinobi, who went over this stuff and was saying, people are calling him a PDF file, and, you can't say that because...
Gotta save it for the real ones.
Gotta save it for the real ones. But I don't think she knows his history.
I don't think she...
with Lolly.
I was gonna say, I don't think she knows about the Lolly thing or, like...
calling children sexy and just
Calling
very
it-
creepy stuff with kids.
calling a young child a bitch and in the same breath calling them sexy on Twitter.
It's just not a good look. It definitely helps the argument that he's a PDF file when this kind of stuff comes out.
Oh, it definitely, it not only helps, it supports every bit of the argument against what people are saying by not labeling him that. The problem, I think, really comes down to the fact that people are like, well, you don't know. You don't know. You know how many people call me white? I'm not white. Do I get offended?
Say you have a best friend, and your best friend likes to bestiality cartoon. Would you feel safe letting that best friend of yours around your dog?
Oh, I know.
I'm just curious.
Oh, I know.
Because no one in the right mind would. Actually, why would you be best friends with someone who is interested in that? That's what makes me be very suspicious of MrBeast.
The real problem is that, not MrBeast, Kris Tyson. Or you mean MrBeast is a friend?
Yeah. Why would you be friends with someone who is attracted to little kid cartoon?
It doesn't make sense to me.
Just curious. Why wouldn't you separate yourself from that? There's just a lot of very suspicious stuff going on. And I called it with David Dobrik. That shit would come out about him. Everyone was like, David Dobrik is so amazing. And I'm like, there's something about him I don't like. I don't like something about this guy. Come to find out, he was disgusting in more ways than one. So when I saw this guy, and I saw that he was transitioning and he was doing all this stuff, I'm like, no, something's off. You get that? I've lived long enough, seen way too much protective, like, female instinct, that thing that just goes up in your head.
What concerns me is the fact that he has a child and has custody, clearly, of some of that child. And the word pedophile means child lover. And this person clearly loves children. So I don't think it's the farthest stretch in the world. However, it's concerning. And people, especially men, will soften their demeanor, feminize themselves to seem less intimidating to do things that they want.
Based on both of our personal experiences with people like this, when we were children, I think we know.
You don't have friends? Like, I mean, we all know that Kris had friends. I mean, for God's sake, it's like he's been friends with Jimmy for how long? Since childhood. Another thing that is mentioned too, besides the two things that we just went over, is that apparently Prism has also noted that they communicated one-on-one and unattended. And yeah, that's where this starts getting bad. Also, Prism goes into detail about how apparently Lava had Kris added on Snapchat. Like, I know some of you guys in the audience are thinking to yourselves, well, yeah, it looks like Kris is kind of cooked. But yeah, I got a weird snap from Kris. And then as you guys can see right here, there's a screenshot of the snap. Up in the left-hand top corner there, you can see from Christopher. And then there's a picture of Kris in front of the American flag. And there's text that Kris displayed. And the text says, "Coming for America." Like, CUMMING. And also just keep in mind that Lava right here, if you do the math with this being January 26, 2019, Lava right here would have been 15 years old. And as for how old Kris would be here, Kris would have been 22 and a half years old. So yeah, by just knowing...
This is what people who groom children, this is the beginning of it, the beginning stages, is they'll slowly start to introduce sexual things.
Yes.
Very, like, innocently, but they'll start doing it to weaken the defenses and desensitizing the child from sexual stuff. And they'll continue.
As I said earlier, these kids, if you're 15, if you remember being 15, sex was new. Everything to do with your body was new because you have new bodies. You just went through puberty. This is beyond inappropriate. But the reason it's happening, the reason it's so easy for them to do is because they're finding someone who's new to the game and weak and doesn't know any better, and they're going to start introducing them to things to test the limit, see how far they can go.
Test the waters.
Because saying, to the American flag isn't anything that someone would consider sexual assault. However,
or inappropriate.
Right. It's because nothing was happening. It was just a picture with words, right? But it is inappropriate language talking about sexual things with a minor. How is that not?
I mean, Dr. Disrespect, who was the other one? Colleen Ballinger and
Choline, like
James
it's a body part.
Charles. Like, these people all got canceled for talking inappropriately with minors.
Yeah.
Why is this guy, why is he...
Yeah, all of a sudden, oh, no, don't call him anything.
Why is he safe? Is it because he's
transitioning.
trans? Because I think that that's another reason why he started to transition.
It's a safety net.
It's like a shield. Don't say anything about the trans woman, even though he's doing creepy and has been doing creepy. We can't say anything about him. No, Charlie Moist Critical or H3H3 won't come after him, but they'll come after the other three for being inappropriate. You have to stick by your guideline. If you have a spine, it can't just overlook certain people because they're trans. They didn't overlook James Charles because he's gay.
They must have problems because of their transition. We have to be sensitive. How about we help the people that are good people and the kid-addicted people can go to a different island?
Actually, the kid-addicted people are on the island with the LGBTQ because remember, this Kris transition was right around the same time where the minor attracted people acronym was trying to push its way into the LGBTQ. They were trying to be a part of the LGBTQ. A lot of people who say kids and kink can coexist are the queers, non-binaries, and trans. Now, I don't mean transsexuals. There's a big fucking difference. Transgender,
Genderism.
transvestite, cross-dresser, now drag queen, all of those.
That? Like, why? Why in any context would you send something like that to somebody that you most likely know is 15 years old while you are 22 years old? This right here is not a joke that you make to somebody who is 7 years younger than you and to somebody who is a minor. Prism talks about how Kris and Lava met, and that was apparently because Lava won a challenge that MrBeast was doing, and Lava received a signed knife from MrBeast.
When he was 16, he was in a MrBeast video. He asked Jimmy, how hard do you want it? 68 million people have seen it. What I want to start out with is when this guy was really young, he won some sort of competition or was involved, and he DM'd MrBeast on Twitter and got sent a knife signed by MrBeast. He was like 12 or something. And it was a karambit signed by MrBeast. It was a CSGO karambit. That seems to be the first interaction that I can tell.
So I guess it's one thing for Lava to win the challenge, and that's the reason why they get into contact with him, but like after that, there shouldn't be any like connection. They, including Kris, should not have been trying to be friends with this kid or anything like that. Then this is where the really questionable part comes in which Lava asked Kris on February 14th, 2018, Kris, does she know about your hentai addiction? Like, excuse me? Like, why does Lava know about this supposed hentai addiction that Kris has? Like, why that?
And what did we say? Slowly introducing sexualized conversations. Mm-hmm. With children.
It's what Dean Ballinger was doing. The only difference is she brought people on stage and started doing stuff with them.
Did it in public.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only difference.
You want to explain what hentai is?
Hentai is big boob anime porn.
Right. Now, why would a grown adult male be talking about big boobed anime porn with a minor?
That's the problem.
Just curious. Way too many people are trying to defend or protect or aren't going in hard enough on this guy because he's trans. I'm telling you, man, that's gotta be the reason. Because everyone else goes so hard after everyone else.
That or the fact that he's with MrBeast. I mean, it's got to be
also
it's
a
got to
big
be one of the
possibility.
two. It's got to be one of the two. It doesn't make sense to me. If in any contest I won, I was never continued to be talked with by the person. I also don't think you should be sending a 13-year-old a knife.
Yeah, that's kind of fucking weird. Nobody mentioned that one. You're sending a child
A knife. That should be definitely 18 years and
a
older.
weapon?
I don't think they can buy knives at 13 like that. I mean, you can buy like
But an
cooking
adult
knives,
can
but not
send
like
one.
but not like pocket knives and because it's dangerous because they're a child still. They're a minor.
Right. Oh, now mind you,
I guess he said the parents were involved, so I guess.
the young guy who they refer to him as
Lava.
Lava did come out and defend Kris
Kris Tyson.
Tyson. You want to read that?
Lava, I was not groomed by Kris Tyson. I did not meet Kris Tyson by myself. I met Kris and MrBeast crew with my family present. I ran a Discord with Kris Tyson when I was 13, and edgy, inappropriate jokes were said. That's it.
He also continues on and talks about the videos that have come out about Kris and him. And he says these videos are massive lies and twisting the truth Ava, who is Kris Tyson, never did anything wrong and just made a few edgy jokes. I was never exploited or taken advantage of. Can you do me a favor and comment on these videos and tell them to stop spreading lies? The situation takes away from children who are actively being exploited every day online. I am not a victim of anything being claimed in these videos or at all.
I'm not saying you're a victim. I'm saying that as a child, you had an adult saying inappropriate things in front of you, and that's wrong.
And he didn't think there was anything wrong with it, so why would he think anything's wrong with it now? Also, people who are victims have a really hard time accepting that they have been victims of something and will fight to the death for their abuser. Now, I'm not saying that he was abused. I'm saying that this is just a
Possibility. I truly believe that this person is coming from a place of this is my attachment to fame. Everything to do with the MrBeast stuff is the only claim to fame this person has. On top of that, when you're 15, 14, you are starting to become sexual. So you don't think you're doing anything wrong. I was 15 talking to an 18-year-old, and I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Looking back on it, that was not a good relationship for me to have been in. However, I consented to it, every last step of it.
children can't consent.
But that's the confusing part for someone who's like 14, 15. This person, despite the way you feel, it was an inappropriate relationship. Just like I had the inappropriate relationship. Now, I don't call myself a victim because I made the choices. It wasn't a bad relationship, so it wasn't like I'm a victim. But at the same time, if you were to step out of that from a legal standpoint, technically speaking,
You were a
I
victim.
was a victim.
How would you tell somebody who is this age, or frankly a minor, weird sexual shit in the things that you're into sexually? Like, this is highly questionable, and I don't know what Kris was doing here.
So you post something that says, guys, we are so close to our goal. Oh my God, one more Patreon and I'm releasing my nudes. And of course, this is some poorly made joke. I've seen these kinds of jokes online before where it says, oh, if this post gets one like, I'll kill myself. And then the person likes it. It's, this kind of joke, it says a goal of $3. I want to see if anyone is dumb enough to give me money. But of course, it's only you and this other guy in this Twitter thread. And this is the part I have a problem with. This isn't a group chat. This is literally just him and this other guy that he's been talking to and that he's friends with online. He says, Lava says, I'm your first Patreon big boy. Kris Tyson, he would have been 22 years old at the time, or around that age. And you have this guy who was born in November 12, 2003. He would have been 14. He shows that he donated some money. He donated like $1 or something. So it's not enough to meet the goal. And he says, but not $5. Pathetic. Just kidding. Kissy face. If you know this guy is that young and you've been talking to him one-on-one online, and you've been socializing with him and making friends, what is this comment supposed to mean? What I'm seeing here is, he says, wait till my Twitch revenue comes in, winky face. So you're sending kissy faces, he's sending you a winky face, and the premise is you're trying to give him enough money so you can get his news. And of course, it continues. He says, check again, and he tags you, I think. At least that must be you, or he's tagging you. And of course, he says, I posted some fire nudes for you, please no share. And this is someone that you're talking to that is 14 years old, that you know is 14, and at the end of the day, you cannot be talking about topics like this with someone that is this young. Keep in mind.
Now, the fact that these conversations went on and no one from the popular left YouTube streamers, content creators are talking about this, it makes me so fucking suspicious of them and their integrity. They have no integrity. This is the exact same that they cancel other people over.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not. He's talking about sending. I don't give a shit if it's a joke. It's disgusting. And usually people say it's a joke in order to cover.
Do you go up to 4-year-olds and threaten sending them nude?
Why?
That's not a joke.
No. What would make that a joke?
Do you go up to 4-year-old, got your nose? That's a joke.
That's a joke. But this was also the guy who was at the time saying that he was cranking his yank or yanking his crank to Lolly. And now you're talking about, okay, first of all, you're a grown dude. You're attracted to guys and girls and cartoon children having sex. And now you're having these jokes with a minor
On a public forum.
on a public platform.
Where Internet Archive keeps it, everyone keeps it, everyone saw it. You can delete it, but we saw it. It's there. And we know. And that's why when people say, don't call him a pedophile, well, I'm going to call him creepy and keep him away from your kids.
He should not be in content that is directed towards children.
No, clearly he can't handle it because as soon as he gets into content that's related to children, he has to keep talking to them.
Yeah. And he doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. That's the other thing. He never came out and said there was something wrong with this.
I was young and I was dumb, but I shouldn't have been doing it, but I did, but nothing really happened. I did make jokes that were out of line. Shouldn't have done that. Step back. Nothing like that was said.
Why, as a grown man, would you think that was okay is my question.
Well,
Why? Why would you think that's okay when you know that's a freaking minor?
I don't think that he thinks it's okay. I think that he's trying to get whatever he wants out of life and that he was just having his fun.
He's a fetishist. Mm-hmm. He has paraphilias.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
He's got PD tendencies. Why aren't people trying to cancel him? Like Cody Co, right? Mm-hmm. People just cancel him.
Yeah, they're really trying to cancel Cody Co.
Right. Now, if he would have had relations with 17-year-old Tana in a different state, it would have been legal, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's illegal in some states. It's legal in others. He knew it was wrong. He did it anyway. He should be canceled. This is worse. Way worse.
Oh, I agree.
And I know it for a fact. There is about him that will come to light eventually. And MrBeast will have to make a choice then. Still stick by the friend or separate yourself completely. Because stuff like this isn't isolated. This is practice for Kris.
Yeah, that's why Kris
More
is
will come
becoming a
out.
woman now. Because it's easier to talk to children as a woman.
Because trans is not threatening.
If I'm in a store and I see a child wandering and I see a man walk up to that kid, you bet your ass I'm going over there and asking if that's their father. Unless like it's obvious, I'm gonna ask. Because I don't feel comfortable. I would much rather be the person going up to the kid and going, "Hey, honey, are you okay?" Because I know that I'm not gonna do anything.
When creepy men decide to transition, it's usually because it makes them less threatening to their victims. These are facts.
I know. And everyone, look at it, the Abba and Preach. Oh, Kris Tyson's fine.
Leave
Kris
trans
Tyson's
people
fine.
alone.
We don't know what Lolly is, but if we did, we'd change our minds.
Yeah. He's just a trans person. You're going to run into trans people. No, there is a difference between that kind of trans and transsexuals.
You are gonna run into trans people. You're also gonna run into pedophiles.
But just because they're trans doesn't mean they're not a pedophile.
Both can exist.
Does not mean that they're not bad people.
It doesn't exempt them from everything that they've done. It doesn't erase their misdoings. Just like me being a lesbian doesn't erase the fact that I was also in a relationship. It was a lesbian relationship, but I was too young to have technically consented to that relationship. You see where we're going here, folks? If it was anyone else, no one would be defending this man. But because it's this man who put on the dress and did a half shave.
And mind you, I wasn't the one she was in a relationship with at the time because I was way older.
Those numbers don't match.
No, they don't.
Just saying.
No, I'm 15 years old.
If I would have got with you when I was 15, you would have been 30. Because his victim is like, no, it's not a problem. Because
it
of
was
that.
because you were a minor.
But because of that,
Yeah.
everyone's on his defense now.
But that doesn't mean that later on he's going to come to find out that something really wasn't right and him change his tune. Or that doesn't mean that other people will come out because I know this isn't isolated.
Also, gaslighting is a real thing.
Yep.
And from unconsensual relationships to consensual relationships, you can be gaslit. We also know that from experience.
Yeah.
So just because you don't feel like a victim, just like I don't feel like a victim in my situation, doesn't mean that you were a target. Who was the victim?
You're bisexual, okay? You're talking to a guy that is 14 and you're in college, and the premise here is you guys are joking with each other about sending nudes. Like this, it doesn't matter if you're joking or not. Solicitation is solicitation. There should be zero discussion about anybody sending anyone who's 14 years old nudes of any kind. Okay? What I have a problem with here is the way that you're talking to him, the fact that he's asking you about animated pornography, and this is one of your friends with online, which, by the way, you shouldn't even be friends with a middle schooler to begin with because you're in college.
Now, the situation
If I come out with a gun and say, I'm going to shoot you, there's definitely cops coming around. But if I come out as a person and I go, I'm going to send kids news, no one's showing up.
No, because you didn't do anything yet. We have to wait till they do something in order to do something
We have
about
to
it.
emotionally scar people.
Even if the signs are showing that he's going to or has, we just haven't found out yet. We can't say anything. Like I think some people on YouTube are just giant vaginas, and they can't see the forest for the trees.
only seems to get worse and worse as we go further, because on January 14th, 2019, and there was a screenshot that was posted by Lava. Now, I'm not really sure where this picture came from, if Kris sent this to Lava or if Lava took this somehow or what, but it's captioned, "This is a bad way to hide your hentai at Kris02." Another screenshot of a tweet that was obtained by Prism here is from November 11th, 2019, and it's replying to Kris and gamer subs, and Lava said, "I love how I set that embed up so it shows you looking sexy." On February 14th, 2020, Lava tweeted at Kris02, "Will you be my Valentine?"
So now these messages are showing that this child has an attraction to Kris.
That's what I'm telling you. It's exactly what I said. Exactly. The kid consented to it because the kid didn't know any better, and therefore he does not view himself as a victim because he consented to it.
Maybe he doesn't see himself as gay or bisexual.
Yeah, because this was just joking with the boys.
Right, but sometimes jokes turn into other things.
Kris02, will you be my Valentine? Winky face emoji. This is highly suspicious. Here's some unrelated replies. This one is from December 25th, 2019. It's Lava saying, "Thank you, Dad," with a heart emoji. Like, just a quick question for you guys in the audience. If you're friends with somebody and you're not gay and you don't have feelings for them and you just have a normal friendship, say like you're a 20-year-old and you got some friends from high school that you still talk to that are around the ages of 19 to 25, just for a little bit of context there. Do you guys talk in this way? Do ya? Because I can tell you right now, I don't talk to my friends like this. But
Okay, he calls him Dad. Now, what if people had called him Daddy?
Different.
You think maybe he knew that and that's why he just called him Dad instead of Daddy? That was the first thing I thought of. Why are you calling him Dad? You're attracted to him. You wouldn't call someone you're attracted to Dad unless you were calling him Daddy. Maybe they have some sort of, I don't know. My mind goes into so many different directions with this. It's like, the relationship they had was completely inappropriate. Ugh.
And that's why I say, like, and this person doesn't feel like they were a victim because they consented and participated, but that doesn't mean that it's okay.
Nope, it's not.
this. But I guess also at the same time, I'm not really friends with minors. So, I mean, if I'm Kris right now, how in the hell do I explain this? Lava put out.
Also, I just want to point out real quick, when I was in middle school, my mom made my sister, who was 6 years older than me, take me with her to college. No one at that college, never, said anything about sex, relationships, kissing, nothing. They took me to the movies. We talked about music stuff. That was it. They helped me with stuff I needed help with, and that was about it. You have situations in life where you are put in groups where you're going to be significantly older than other people. You might have minors around you. The difference is how you handle it. None of those people tried anything with me. You're trying.
You're referring to Kris.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have friends who ironically are friends with you, who we found were mutual friends when we got together, because of that in my life. But I'm still friends with them to this day because they never fucking made things weird.
Right, because there's a line you don't cross. It's called sex conversations. I don't give a shit if it's a joke. If you're an adult dude and you're talking to this young child as if he's an adult dude too, there's something wrong with you and there's something wrong here that we need to look a little bit closer into.
Put out a tweet and said, "Kris bullies me," and then he attached a screenshot of some pinned Discord messages with him and Kris. And Lava says, "Practice with this, at Kris the meme god."
What is that about? Why are you telling Kris to practice
Anything to do with anything like that? Yeah.
with a banana? I mean, these sexual comments and all this stuff inappropriately back and forth should not have ever been going on.
Yes.
But don't call him a PD because he hasn't done anything that we know of. It's only a matter of time.
Let him meet your kid on Twitter.
Come on, guys. Get real. Get real.
It's a banana, right? And I think we all know what that signifies right there. And this was February of 2019, by the way. 2 days before Lava sent this in whatever Discord this is, Kris sent an image and captioned it, "Lava's mom tomorrow." Like, again, it's oddball behavior. On March
Lava's mom tomorrow. First of all, it was James Charles, who likes minors.
Ironically.
And what was that? Kind of like
It was like a
is on the face reference?
yeah.
Why? Why are you talking to kids like this? Why does no one have a problem with it? What the hell, guys? You go after people for less.
Because this is the thing at the end of the day. Men don't find an issue with it too. Because they figure guys talk like this to each other all the time. They're just gross.
But he's attracted to guys.
Yeah.
Little kids.
Yeah, and it's gross, and he will continue to be this way because he's getting away with it. He's regressing to like 14-year-old boy mentality to get with 14-year-old boys.
I think he kind of, what was the word you used?
Regress?
Regressed to a 14-year-old little girl.
But he's not a little girl.
He thinks
wants-
he is.
He wants to feminize a little boy. There's a difference.
Still, he wants to be a little girl.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
And if he thinks he's a little girl, then he can do this stuff and...
Where's the problem?
Right.
March 4th, 2017, he put up a screenshot of what looks like to be a message on a 4chan post. It's a post from Anonymous, and it says, objectively, the easiest way to prevent a R word is to start consenting. What can I say, guys? Chris is just the meme god, am I right?
I have no idea
These kind of jokes, man, are totally not funny. Why are you doing this? Why was he doing this? Why was he saying this kind of...
Because to him, he finds it funny.
Does he find it funny or does he find it arousing?
I'm sure a little bit of both, and I think the fact that he can put that kind of statement out and laugh about it just shows like what
He
kind of
finds
person.
rape funny?
Yeah, what kind of person we're dealing with here, or saying that, oh, it's not really. You just have to consent to it.
if this guy, anything happened to this guy physically. I can only show that they're talking about inappropriate topics with each other. I can show that there is a vast age difference, that he should not have been socializing with this guy in the first place, but he did. And the fact that he was able, like the moment he was able to meet
Ooh, I have a very good question. What if this was a little girl? You think anyone would have a problem with it then?
Yes,
Big time. Big time.
but the little girl was joking about on the flag too.
Oh, he was just joking with a little girl about coming on a flag. About sending her nudes. What?
Yeah,
So it's different because it's a little boy?
we're gonna have to do a lot of bleeping.
Holy shit.
That's pretty much it. What do you think? Do you think it's inappropriate to call him the P word?